So I know this session is going to be about interest integration. If you were here for the beginning panel this morning, you heard one of the teachers you heard one of the teachers speak about student interests, as far as trying to get them more involved, more motivated to take these STEM and computer science courses, so eventually they can enter these careers. Good morning. You were awesome this morning, Mr. Fluellen.
Thank you, sir. Hold on. Let me get my stuff, make sure everything is turned on here. Can you hear me pretty clearly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, yeah, I honestly have a scheduling issue. Yeah, trying to be Dr. Flu, Professor Flu, summer school flu, computer science flu, all at the same time. Okay. All right. Let me bring my stuff up. Give me 1 second.
Okay, no problem. So just to remind you all that the sessions are being recorded and will be available in the near future on the Constellations YouTube channel. I did post the link in the overall event chat. And when there are two chats, there was one, well, actually there's three, but there's one for the session, one for the stage, as well as one for the entire event. So the recordings will be there in the near future, as was stated previously. If you have any questions, you may enter them, or comments, you may enter them in the chat. We also do have a question and answer period. Feature, excuse me, which is one of the tabs where you see chat, polls, people, Q&A, and Twitter. But as was stated before, please, share with others that they can still come and register for this free, wonderful event. We have one more day, which is tomorrow as well. And then please join us for our watch party with Coded Bias this afternoon. So the link should be in your schedule, and interact with us via the chat as well, that's provided with the link information. In addition, if we are going to stream it on Hopin as well. If you wanted to just watch it there, but there's just some additional information here.
All right.
Oh, okay, and then you'll probably have two shared screens on your screen, one with closed captioning, and then the one that Mr. Fluellen is going to share. So in order to have one be the dominant one, if it's not the dominant one of choice, you can double click on the window and then it will enlarge. Or if you want to minimize and have just gallery view of the windows, you can double click on the window that is enlarged, and then that will kind of reduce the size of that window screen. So I think that's kind of all of my housekeeping duties. If you ready, if not, just let me know.
I'm good. I'm gonna roll with what I got.
Okay, thank you, sir. I'm gonna just be here in the background, so let me know if you need anything.
All right. Well, good afternoon, people. My name is Marekus Fluellen. I'm a computer science teacher in Atlanta Public Schools, and of course the title here is kind of a loaded concept. Student interest versus the curriculum. A lot of times we are not reaching all of the students, all of our potential students with interest in computer science or things associated with technology, because we kind of exclude them. Okay, it's not intentional. It's just that sometimes we're handed instructions to say, hey, we want this type of student. We want this particular, grade. We want this particular pathway kind of deal. And so, at my school, we decided to kind of shake that up a little bit. And we wanted to see what students were actually interested in, and then start applying those concepts to our coursework. Okay, so as it relates to computer science, a lot of our students are interested in music. A lot of our students are interested in electronics. A lot of our students are interested in just simple things that they're already doing. They just don't know how computer science can be of support for them, or how it can help them get where they're trying to go. Okay, whether that is career, whether that is personal goals, or if that is um, entrepreneurial goals. Okay, so what we decided to do was pursue a portion, just 20-30% of our lessons with music in this particular case, that I'm going to show you today. There are other applications, but I just kind of wanted to touch on that to say you can reach a lot more of your students by looking at their interest. Okay, and so what I'm gonna do is model just some examples here. So the first thing I want to do is bring up a script from a program called EarSketch. Okay. And what I would like for you to do, if you don't mind, maybe you can respond via chat or you can come off mute. I want to show you this script, and then I want you to try to give me maybe a summary or synopsis of what coding elements that you see in this script here. So it's going to be JavaScript. If you're familiar with it, let me know. If you're not familiar with it, I'll fill in the details. Let me share screen real quick. Share audio as well. Window, Chrome tab. The second? No. Okay. All right. So the program again is called EarSketch. When you want to start coding or introduce it to your class, you can click Start Coding. All right. It will take you to this screen. I need to make sure that I'm sharing here. Share. Let me try again. Chrome tab. Choose the first one. There we go. Okay. So here are the instructions. Take a look at this set of code inside of the list here and just give me some feedback. Do you see anything that is familiar? Do you see anything that is a coding concept that you would teach in your class or in your course that just stands out? Or if you have a question about something that you see, you can just post a question and say, hey, I see this term. What is that? And then we can go from there. So I give you about 2 minutes. Let's see what you come up with. And they can come off of mute, correct, Mr. Sababu?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to double check. I'm here.
Yeah, if you would like to join, ask your question, just click the blue button in the upper right corner, the share audio and video button, and then we'll pull you so you can ask your question.
All right. And if not, the chat box is fine. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to continue forward here. The interest base of this program, like I said, is because the kids enjoy listening to and making music. And so what they're taught to do over the course of a few weeks is just basic, simple elements. And then those basic, simple elements are connected back to the actual curriculum. Okay, so first let's get started. Start with something simple. Let me zoom this back real quick. All right. So the first thing is they have an entire curriculum here. All right. Curriculum is located on the right-hand side. They just updated the website to move a little faster. So some things have moved, but that's perfectly fine. You could do this by topic. So let's say, for example, you wanted to look for array list and you wanted to teach that concept. They could show you how array lists are incorporated into their music software and everything associated with it. Okay, there are lessons, there are videos. You can cover things that way. All right. You can also go by unit, which is how I would typically do it, going from unit to unit, getting started, usage rights, all of that kind of stuff, and then on into the content, looping, abstraction, string operations. And these are all relative to the music element. Okay, so let me show you what I mean here. All right. Okay. All right. I have a few that I've already done here. Okay. So the first command that the students learn, and I'll just click a new one just to get started here. We'll call this for conference. Okay. So you create this, and the first command that the students learn is they learn fit media. Okay. Follows the same principles as JavaScript commands. Okay. And so what the kids will do, or what the students will do, will be working with teachers. What your learners will do is learn how to import sounds. Okay. So on your left-hand side, you have your sound scripts and API. Your API is all of your commands, what they do, full explanations. So with the fit media command, it provides a file name, track number, start location, and end location. You can find a sound under sounds. You can look by artists. You can look by genres. You can look by instruments. So let's say for this case, you want to do something in hip hop. Okay, that's popular with the children. You can find I don't know, let's click a beat here. And you can sample them. Okay. All right, so it's a little delayed, but that's okay. All right, so inside of the fit media, what you would do is paste that sound. Okay. You can also have the students to type it. Okay. But first you put in the sound. Okay. And then that is followed by the information that you need. So you want it to be on a track. So we're going to put this on track 1. And then from there, we want it to start at a particular measure, and we want it to end at a particular measure. Now, most of the students who would use this, and many of mine use it for their projects. Okay. Make sure I'm keeping up. Okay. Open in new window. Good. Okay. I just wanted to make sure both of these are showing up at the same time and I can see it. All right. Good. Okay. All All right. Most of the kids have some sense of how music is laid out. If not, you take the time to explain about measures and things of such. Keep it simple, just so that they can actually create something in the first, day or two or something like that. So, track is the first track. Then you got measure 1 through, I don't know, let's say measure 33. Uh-oh. So when I click run, what it is going to do is take that information and store it. Okay. And forgive me if it's a little delayed. I am using school internet here. All right. And so what happens is that information that we just input is now a part of this track. Most of the students who have this particular interest are familiar with track layout because they're using several different softwares that are set up the exact same way. Okay. So if you press play, it'll play that song or sound, okay? And then the kids can build from there, all right? So let's say that, we decide to add to that, okay? All right, we go back down to our code and we can add additional sounds. All right, so let's say that we do another fit media. This time we look for a melody. Okay. Let me pick this out. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna mix and match here. Might want to find something you actually like first. Why not? I don't know if it fit, but let's just roll with it. Okay. So pop that into, let me make sure that's right. I need it to double. Okay. All right, drop that into the track. This time I want it to be on track number 2. Okay. And then I want it to be from 1 to 33 again. Okay. Or maybe I'll stop and put a break in there. Let's have the drums played first. Let's have this pick up at measure 5. And then run to measure 21. Okay. All right. Now, in this process, I make sure that kids are paying attention to the important details, making sure things end in semicolons, making sure they're adhering to the API format, and it gets them used to paying attention to detail, such that, when it makes an error, of course, the program doesn't load the music, but they're prepared for it. So it's a great debugging exercise as well. And it's still interactive enough to keep their attention. Because, again, they want to make something awesome. All right. So I've put in the second item. And so now the layout starts my second track at measure 5. And so you get the drums first and then the melody. All right. And so what could be done at this point is you can kind of, let them be a little creative. maybe move some more sounds into their line of code. But then this is also a great time to start introducing additional aspects. Okay, so one of the things that I did was I allowed the students to kind of play with different coding concepts. So as we continued on throughout the year, each time we came up with a new coding concept, we added something else to one of our sounds. Okay, so for example, here is an array that was created. So they learned how to create them, give it a name, and then put particular sounds in there, and then go back and respond from those list particular sounds. So let's try that with our current project. Okay. So let's say that I create this variable. Okay. So we're going to call this try this. Okay. Right, and then we're just going to place two sounds in there, and I don't know what these sounds are. If I want to, yeah, I'll just borrow these for the time being. Okay. Okay. All right, so I have these two sounds in here, and then you would have that conversation about how to call those particular sounds, what it means for those sounds to be stored in a particular position, the difference between elements and the difference between elements and indices and all of these things that you discuss with the students. Okay, so at this point, you want to try to structure. Again, we're trying to look at the entirety of the song. So let's say that my first melody is going from measure 5 to measure 21. All right, I can drop this a little early. So I'm going to take a piece of it off from 13 to, let me see, take it down to 11. All right. And so it will stop at 11, but then I want this new melody to pick up at 13. Okay. So when I want this new melody to pick up at 13, and I can do this a couple of different ways. I can throw in a function. I can throw in additional fit medias. Like there's so many different elements that you can do here. So let me see. What did I do before? Okay. So on line 21 and 22, you can see that we just recall that basic command of fit media, which plays a sound. But let's do something a little creative. Let's go ahead and create a function. Okay. Okay. Then I should be able to, yep. All right. Okay. Nope, I don't want to do that yet. Okay. So let's try it this way first. Let's drop this in. Okay. fit media, and then I'm going to drop in, let me see, it should be the name of that variable or that list. Put in the position and then tell it where I want it to play. So let's see, I got name, I got that. Track 3. And then I want it to pick up at 13 to 17. All right. So when I hit run, okay. When I hit run, what it does is take that piece that I put in and place it right where I told it to go. Track 3, measure 13, and stop at measure 17. Okay. I can add in other sound, calling that same list. Okay. Fit media. Try this. Choose the next element here. Where is that bracket? Okay. 1. Okay. Track 4. Let's do 18 to 21. Okay. All right. Okay, so here's what it would sound like so far. Then we'll pause real quick and allow you guys to ask some questions or interact with me here. So we got our beginning. Let's go back. All right, now, the other thing that you have to do is you have to make sure that while you're making this somewhat corny music, okay, you have to make sure you do a little jig with your music to get the kids' attention, okay? First couple of times you do it, you know, you won't be familiar with your sounds. The kids won't be familiar with their sounds. They won't know that they can upload their own stuff and make it as cool or as non-cool as they want to. So, you know, you want to make sure that you kind of create from their space, you know, make sure that you are listening to, you know, what they're saying. But they're going to tell you what style, they're going to tell you, you know, what sounds they're interested in. And your focus is just really going to be interjecting the appropriate coding elements. Okay. So any questions so far? Any ideas? Anything that you would like to try? Okay. Make sure this is still sharing. Yep. Okay.
Yes, we can
All right.
see your screen.
Say what?
I said, yes, we can still see your screen.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm still learning Hop-In, so, you know, bear with me. We've been using Zoom all year. Okay. All right. So back to the curriculum. And if I had my other computer, I would show you how relative this is to some of the other music software that is out there. So actually, let me just bring up this thing, Ableton Live. Okay. All right. Open a new tab. Good. Okay. All right. Let me share my screen again. Share. Share again. I guess it's that one. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let me zoom. I guess I can zoom. What's this? I don't want that on my screen. Okay. So this is one of the softwares that I use for a different class, of course. But you can see that the layout is still the same. It's still a row and column-based system where information is stored in here, and then you have all of these other little neat features. But the same features are there. Now you can imagine telling a student, hey, I want you to go and, chase your dreams and your interests based on music production or sound generation. And then, this student who doesn't have a job is now faced with spending $500, $1,000, $2,000 for software. Well, in the process of using something like EarSketch, which is free, whatever they make, they get to keep. And the software is available to them. Okay. So that was just one of the things that caught my attention besides the fact that, yes, of course, they can learn JavaScript or Python. It's just the idea of this is something that you really want to do. You can pick up another skill while you really do that thing. Okay. All right. So let me switch back. Okay. And again, if you have questions, I have responses or the best of my ability to respond to those questions. Okay, where did it go? Oh, I put it on a different tab. EarSketch. All right.
Now, how has the students' reactions been overall since you've been doing this for a couple of years now?
So the first interaction was a bit of hesitancy because they didn't really think that the integration of the software was authentic. It was like, okay, he's just trying to put on his teacher hat. He's just trying to get us to do something. This is extra work, and they didn't really find the visual aspect of it as appealing as, what they would for a music software. Once they got the coding together, it became a viable option for them. They could create something really quickly. They could, expand their coding understanding, and then solve some problems. You got 40 lines of code and half of your beat is working and half of it is not. Again, reinforcing skills that we teach them during the actual class as it relates to debugging, as it relates to proper alignment, double checking, triple checking. And then again, it maintains student interest. A lot of what we talk about in CS is so over their heads. When we talk about, oh, well, you could be blah, blah, blah for a Fortune 500 company, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't register. Hey, I want you to go and start your own business and, you know, be this, you know, super savvy tech guy. That's not registering to the student. You know, that's something that is on our shoulders. But for the student, it's like, how can I use this now? How can I apply this now? Why is it relevant to me now? And so in doing that, it's a transition. By the end of the course, the kids are really making some awesome titles, and you know, it's just exciting for them to hear their own stuff. Um, so yeah, that's kind of been the initial response. This is year 2 of it being directly incorporated into the lessons. Let's see, where did he go?
Do you happen to have any student samples that you know, where they've given you, I guess, permission where you can utilize them?
So I had one that I copied from their collective work. We did a group sample, and it was just to kind of connect all of the skills that they had got for that particular semester. Now, of course, this is pandemic coding, so it does have its limits, but I still thought it was pretty cool. So let me pull that up. Share Chrome. Okay, I'm trying to get the right screen here, and that is not the right one. Okay, try again. All right, we got the right one back up. Okay, let me shrink this a bit. Okay, and I saved it. Scripts. Was it this one? I have to go and blow this up because I can't see that. Yep. Okay. All right. So this just includes a couple of different variables as well as the make beat function. And this was kind of early, but I thought it was pretty interesting the way that it came out. And of course, you know, anytime you create something and you can physically look right at it, you know, it's exciting. I mean, it's a step up from, you know, making a character move around on the screen, or, you know, explaining a concept for its future implications. Like if I can put something here and listen to it right away, then, you know, I'm doing myself a great service to be able to do something with it. So this is what it sounded like. And that was enough, you know, for them to say, hey, I have something that I can roll with. You know, I have something that I can do and duplicate. You know, that was the goal. So I actually have another one. I believe it was this one. Let me see. Yeah, when we started using functions. Okay. Right. All right, so let me go back to the beginning of that. Here's what that one sounds like. So the census with that one was the student says whoever created the sounds or the sound files for the program must have been born in the 70s. And it kind of made me laugh because I'm like, that could be possible. I don't know for sure. And so we had this vast discussion about how to upload your own sounds, and how to use some of your own elements of creativity into the work, because they didn't necessarily care for all of the sounds. Okay, so I do have a sample for one of the items that I created using EarSketch, and then I uploaded to my own software. So let me find that really quickly. Okay, I got it. Let me share that real quick. Okay. Nope. All right, turn that off. Turn this back on. Chrome tab. Here we go. All right. So I uploaded this to my SoundCloud. This is called IDTCS Professor Flu, which is what the kids call me. You know, it's their way of you know, connecting, if you will. All right. So it doesn't sound bad. At least I don't think so. But so that is to say that a lot can be done with the software. Okay, but remember, the goal of even using the software was to connect to student interest. So there are lots of different ways that this can be done. And you have to remember that if they have the interest before you present the curriculum, they will maintain the interest through the curriculum. If we're just presenting, you know, digital citizenship, and we're just presenting, you know, this is Java, this is JavaScript, this is Python, or even if we're just projecting, one day you might be able to use this to create games. We're losing the students, and we're not even inviting the ones that will really buy into it. I remember a training that I went to, I guess it was 2 years ago. In a matter of 30 minutes, I created a very familiar video game. Like, that had my attention. You know, the instructions that I got was, if you do this, you do this, you do this, you add this, you add this, you add this. Now go be creative. And in 30 to 45 minutes, we had a video game. And my video game didn't function like everybody else's video game because my coding was off just a little bit. But when I brought that to the students, and show them, like, this is what you can do with it. Now, let's go back and talk about the things that are required in order to master this. We ended up with a better product. We ended up with students that were actually engaged in learning the content. You know, to be honest about it, the content is a lot. And if you don't constantly connect it to their interest, versus just running the curriculum, you don't keep the students, and you don't invite the ones that would otherwise love to be a part of your program. So, you know, that was my take on it. That is my take on it. Another area that we are trying to integrate right now while we wait on the appropriate software is hobby grade RC cars. Um, the hobby grade RC cars, every child loves to play with a remote control car. Every adult likes to play with a remote control car. They have electronic speed controllers. They have receivers and transmitters. They have program boxes that help you to decide um, the characteristics of how your vehicle behaves. Okay. That is something that the students can put their hands on. That is something that is tangible. It's not just a lesson where, they get to move around. It's not just a video where they get to watch somebody else doing something. They get to physically do something and see an immediate result. So again, if I'm going to uh, project the idea that, computer science is for everybody. Computer science is the future. Computer science is my connection, my gateway to getting out of maybe my current circumstances or expanding my interest. It has to be done in such a way that is relevant, and it has to be done in such a way that um, there's something tangible. You can imagine going home, and my son saw this in another training. He's only 7. He was able to walk away after 5 minutes, 6 minutes, telling his mother, hey, I gave a dog instructions using JavaScript. Now, he still didn't really understand what JavaScript was, but he knew that he gave computer commands to a 2-dimensional item, and it followed those commands. He then proceeded to do 3 or 4 additional exercises. And this is at that time 6-year-old, 5-year-old. Okay. And it was something that was interesting to him, and so he was drawn to it. And that's the concept. We have to figure out a way to navigate off of the pages. The unplugged activities should be how we start. Uh, what's the name of the little device with the LED lights?
Microbit.
Microbits. Like, that should just be, every kid should have a microbit wrapped around their neck, and they should be doing something every day. Instead of getting them to use their phones to send text messages, get them to use their microbits to create emojis that will allow them to communicate maybe how they feel today, whether or not they understand the concept or not. As you move on through the lesson, you have the little drones and robots. Like, that should be in every classroom, every opportunity to. This is how it works. This is why you're using it. This is another way to see it. And if we're doing that, we keep and maintain the interest. I keep going back to that because I've seen students walk away from certain subjects because it's just memory. It's just information. It's just test preparation. It's just formulas, definitions. And when they walk away from it, or when they go home and there's no application for it at home. But you can imagine, you go home, you still have access to the internet, God willing, and you can continue to do what you were doing in class. I have kids now with this upcoming Astro RC project. They're like, man, I told my mom what I want for Christmas, and as soon as I get my truck, I'm coming back, and we're gonna do A, B, C, D. But again, that's just interest. So, are there any questions? Any questions about, you know, how you can integrate this into your curriculum, you know, for maybe beginners or even for the advanced students.
Feel free to share your audio and video. We have about, you know, a couple of minutes left. Well, it's 4:25 now. I know the next session starts at 4:30.
Yeah. Well, what I'll do is I can put my information in the chat box, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll put my information in the chat box. If you would like to see more of the information that I shared in action, maybe in a class setting, or you would just like to have some side stuff, you know, conversations or whatever, there's my email. You know, I do try to advocate for this because I know, and I've always found 30-40% of my class just in the building, you know, kind of not thinking computer science might be something I'm interested in. But once you show them what computer science can do from the perspective of their interest, you got a lifetime student. For my first group of students 3 years ago, at least 45-50% of them are considering computer science as a career field as they get ready to graduate for college. So, you know, just something to think about. But I'm here. You know, you got my information. Just let me know.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Fluellen. I have to go and head over to another session that I'm monitoring.
Okay. Well, do I just hang out until it ends, or, you know, in case anybody got any questions for the next 3 minutes?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you can hang out for the next 3 minutes if you would like. That's fine.
Okay. All right.
I'll catch you.
All right, sir. I'll catch you. All right.